There are no power adders here, just brute force and a ton of craftsmanship. Up next, we take a ride on the fringes of stock competition. Welcome to the Bluegrass State for some good old big block horsepower as we bring you the super stocks and the pro stocks on this continuation of the 2022 MRA Championship. And you'll hear a couple of names over and over when we talk about horsepower in these two classes. We've mentioned the name Tony Bischoff out of Southern Indiana. We'll see a few of those tonight. But tonight, we're in the hometown of the one and only John Conkle. And when you talk super stocks, you're definitely going to hear the name John Conkle as we get into tonight's action here at Paducah International Raceway with the Super Stocks. The only eliminator class on this series. Our first two machines will line up on this shortened 125-foot track, shortened for the shutdown distance for some of our faster classes here. That's Hunter Sissom you're looking at out of Jackson, Missouri in the 91 Blazer with a 632 big block Chevy ring racing engine built by John Conkle. And go side by side with Garrett Williams and another Chevy powered by a 632 ring racing engine. So we'll see which one can get down the track the quickest. Williams picking the back end of the truck up just a little bit. Sissom with a 2.52 with an 8, so he'll pick up the faster of those two times here in qualifying. And they'll head back up the front stretch to the hot pits to get ready for elimination rounds coming up in just a couple of minutes. Right now, we're going to head back down to the starting line, and we take a look at the only Ford in the field here tonight. That's Daniel Carrer, our last winner in the Super Stock class out in Gore Springs, Mississippi. He also owns a vehicle in the modified class as he's an up-and-coming driver there. Goes side by side with Clayton Olcott in this beautiful baby blue Chevy S10. Ford and Chevy was quick off the line. Olcott looking good with a 2.37 with a 1, 2.47 with a 3 for Carrer. So the track is definitely holding the horsepower, these big engines here tonight. As we bring our final pairing here in qualifying, we have 3 trucks left to go. Here comes Jason Hoskins out of Rising Sun, Indiana, in Your Nightmare, 643. Tony Bischoff, big block Chevrolet, going side by side with a guy we haven't seen before. Beautiful little S10. That's Cody Snodgrass. He's out of DeWitt, Iowa. A pair of bright white Chevys. Snodgrass planted that wheelie bar. He got a lot of grip up the line. Look at that, a 231 with a 9 to take the number 1 spot. Hoskins a 245 with a 9. He's going to be looking for a lot more when he comes back for eliminations, but he is the points leader as of right now. Consistency and attendance have been keeping him on top, but do not think he's going to rely on that to get him to the end of the year. Here comes the VZ engines powered Repercussion, the only Jeep in the field. Ford-powered Jeep. The old Steve Vance motor got him hooked up and down the track quick. Look at that, a 2.29 with a 6. For David French, put him in the number 1 spot and put him on the path to establish the track record in this class right now. French with a 2.29. 2.31 for Cody Snodgrass, a 2.37 for Clayton Olcott. Then we drop down to the 2.45 for Hoskins. Daniel Carrer rounding out the top 5. You see a couple guys not on the top 5 board there. Garrett Williams with a 2.52 and Hunter Sissom with a 2.61. As we will re-rack them, put them on the bracket when we come back. Elimination racing in the Super Stock class. Stay with us.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by RPM Army, For a wide array of content from across the motorsports world, visit rpmarmy.com. Your high-performance fix on the go. And by Crush This. For a look inside the world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, a Monster Truck podcast. This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Monsters Monthly. For up-to-date info, media, and all your other monster truck needs, visit monstersmonthly.com.
Back under the lights here in Paducah, Kentucky, getting ready for Super Stock Eliminator. You can see a couple trucks sitting up there on the line. We've had some trouble with the staging lights tonight. Trying to get that repaired before we go into action. You see it'll be David French and Hunter Sissom. It'll be a Jeep, Ford-powered Jeep, up against the Chevy Blazer. Cody Snodgrass and the Chevy S10 taking on Garrett Williams and the green Chevy Stepside. Clayton Olcott and Daniel Kerr, that'll be a Chevy Ford matchup. And then Jason Hoskins, your points leader, draws a bye run after qualifying rounds here. There you see Hunter Sissom. We talked about him earlier. 91 Blazer with that 632 big block Chevrolet. R&R four-wheel drive racing out of Jackson, Missouri, going side-by-side with David French with a 600 cubic inch big block Ford VZ race engine. Out of Steve Vance's shop out of West Virginia. That guy builds horsepower for all sorts of awesome machines, including our monster trucks that we see around the country. And we will see. French led qualifying, and he'll be number one here. He may have left a little early on the tree there. It didn't even look like he had half a tree lit before he left the starting line. They're going to call a red light there at 2.62 with a 4 for Sissom, who will likely take a free pass out of this round. French's team down there looked like they were celebrating, though, so I don't know that they know that he red lighted. He heads back up to the front stretch here. Watch it go. You're not going to see it on this angle, but well, he left. Yeah, he left before. You'll see on the ground just in front of the tree. You'll actually see the glow of the tree. It'll light up the dirt very brightly there. If he leaves before that lit, then he definitely red lighted. I don't know that he's going to feel that way as he's down there talking to the officials right now, but that's how it will go down on paper. I'm not sure how that's going to affect his ability to try to back up the record, though, so we'll wait and see what happens there. There's Garrett Williams down the starting line in Hog Wild. 1983 Chevy K10. Big ring racing engine, firecracker performance, power glide transmission with an FTI gearbox. Go back to the starting line. All right, we're getting another look at the start for David French, and this should make it very clear. Yeah, he took off well before the tree even started to drop. Looks like Sissom had just gotten into the stage, and I think French saw a light go off, and he just went now as Snodgrass gets ready to snug up to the line to take on Garrett Williams. And Cody looked quick tonight. That wheelie bar definitely helped him plant the horsepower. The only trucks in this class we've seen run a wheelie bar. Beautiful pair right there. Look at Williams lifting the back end. 2.46 with a 3. Not going to get it done. A 2.37 for Snodgrass will take the number one spot, and he had to drive around Garrett Williams in that one. Look at the truck launch right. Both of them moving around quite a bit. A lot of movement for 125 feet, and then watch Williams getting about a foot of air underneath those rear tires as he gets off the throttle and on the brakes. They were moving. They may need a little more shutdown area before the night's over. There's Daniel Kerr, as I said, won the last time out with the Super Stocks in Gore Springs, Mississippi, going up against the second in points right now, that being Clayton Olcott in the little blue S10. Chevy and Ford. Both of them launching hard, but a lot of bounce out of Carrer. You can see Olcott picking up a victory. Had to drive around him, though, as Carrer got the jump off the line. Going right back to it for the bye run. There you see Jason Hoskins matting down his lane. Now what they'll do, you'll see them pull forward over top of the lane and back up. Sometimes, quite a few times, they'll do this. What they're doing is they're packing down that starting line a little bit so it's not just loose dirt up there. You want something kind of firm for the tires to grab a hold of. You don't want it too firm. You don't want to just go down to the hard bottom. If you only have loose dirt there, you'll dig it up and go right down onto the hard surface of the track. 2-4-3 with a 2 for Hoskins. It's all he needed to do is make a legal run, and he'll pass on into the next round. As I see David French coming back to the line, and that means we will have a backup pass being made here as we look to establish record time here on the 125-foot track for the Super Stocks with the cut tires. Still DOT-approved rear tires, but they've been shaved for weight and grip. 2.253. Waiting to see if they're going to... All right, the word we're getting, the 2296 will stand as the record for David French that he set in qualifying. I think the red light may have affected him there, but he does indeed establish the 125-foot record. He won't be back, but he did pick up the record as the pair of Chevrolets come back now for round 2. This is the semifinal round. Hunter Sissom and Cody Snodgrass. 91 Blazer taking on the little white S10. Snodgrass out of Iowa. Sissom out of Missouri. Here are John Conkle, big block Chevys. That was all Snodgrass, but Sissom gave him a run at 2.54. 2.33 for Snodgrass, though, to pick up the victory. He's looking good here tonight, and he is going to be a chore for whoever he gets in this final round. We have not seen this guy before, but he is definitely a tough contender on this series from what we've seen, and I do believe if he comes back for the series next year, he could be a giant killer among the trucks that we have been seeing regularly here this season. Now there's Clayton Olcott back on the line, 1 and 2 in points lining up here. This could very well be the most important race of the season right now, as these guys are only 10 points apart in the season standings. Remember, you throw out your worst 2 finishes at the end of the year, and these guys are very, very close. It could play in Hoskins' favor. It's definitely going to play in his favor. Olcott red lighted. He got back on the brakes, but it was too late. He broke the beam. Hoskins 2.42 with a 4, and he's going to need some speed to deal with Cody Snodgrass. That, or he is going to have to cut a perfect light. Watch it again. You'll see Olcott come up the stage, and it looks like the brakes just didn't hold the power. I don't think he was trying to go. The truck just lurched. You'll see that sometimes. They'll bring it up on the stall to get the power built up, so when they let off the brake and really plant that horsepower, the truck will go. And when he tried to inch the truck forward on the brakes, it just didn't hold. Truck rolled right through the beam, and that was all she wrote as our final pairing of the night in the Super Stock Eliminator class. Jason Hoskins, your points leader, takes on the guy who's new to us, Cody Snodgrass in the little white S10. These guys were paired up in qualifying. Hoskins, as I said, will have to cut a perfect light. And he knew it. Look at that. He red lights. Cody Snodgrass with a 2.362. He has been consistently fast here tonight in Paducah. And Jason Hoskins, I don't think realizes just yet what has happened. But when he finds out that he is getting called on a red light, when he gets back down here to the tent, he's not going to be happy. I guarantee you that. There's no way, knowing the way this guy runs, he would have seen it. I think that red light bulb may have gone out in the tree. Look at that. There's no bulb lit on the tree, but in the tent, the bulb is lit. We've been having a problem with the staging lights here tonight, but watch it again. Hoskins leaves before the tree totally dropped. So Jason Hoskins, in spite of getting to the finish line first, will pick up a red light defeat here. Cody Snodgrass will pick up a victory. And as I said, Hoskins knew he was going to have to cut the tree on Cody Snodgrass to pick up a win. But it's been an awesome night of racing in this class. Short and sweet. Can't wait to see the car count come back up for the Super Stocks next year. Hoskins, though, still leading in the points right now, still with a 10-point lead on Clayton Olcott, followed by Garrett Williams, who is way down there in the 340. As we've seen, it's a runaway season for Hoskins and Olcott. Then it's Kevin Stockwell, Yellow Thunder, and Daniel Carrier. So it's 3 Chevys and a pair of Fords in the bottom 2 of the top 5 here in the Super Stock class. We are definitely not done from here in Paducah. When we come back, the Pro Stocks hit the track to go for low ET. Stay with us. Welcome back to Paducah, Kentucky, with a beautiful night for the naturally aspirated engines that we're seeing on hand. The Supers have cleared the track, and it's time to bring on the Pro Stocks as Jesse Brown is leading the charge into Paducah, the man from Waverly, Tennessee, just ahead of Rodney Merritt, Rick George, Greg Booker, and Don Cato. And it is a field of Chevrolets in the top 3 as we get ready for our first pairing to take to the track. There you see Rick George, a couple of Chevy-powered vehicles, going up against David Kurtz. That's the Jeep. Mo Muddy in the near lane. Shag Nasty, the pickup truck, in the far lane. Awesome pair of runs for those two. Kurtz with a 2:19 with a 5. George with a 2:05 on that run. 2:05 with a 3, and the standing record in this class is a 2:00 with a 4. So the track that's been holding horsepower for everybody so far this weekend is continuing to do so for the Super Stocks and now the Pro Stocks. Watch it again, the Buckeye and the Jeep in the near lane getting a little sideways on that near side. You saw Rick George lift the front end straight up. May want to reassess where that wheelie bar is sitting before he comes back for session 2, but otherwise a great run as Rodney Merritt, sitting number 2 in points right now in Disturbed, all the way out of Gar, Colorado, goes side by side with Greg Booker, the American Outlaw out of Steelville, Missouri. Rodney Merritt coming the farthest to do a battle here this weekend. Little lurch on the start there for Merritt, but I don't think he broke the beam. Runs a 2.50, and look at that, a 2.08 for Booker. So Rick George will remain in the number 1 spot, but Greg Booker definitely challenging him. Figure out what he's got to do to go faster in session 2. Come back at it. He'll restage with Rodney Merritt here in a moment as they come back around to get ready for session 2. We bring a pair of heavy Chevys to the starting line. There you see Jesse Brown, your points leader in Loose Cannon. Again out of Waverly, Tennessee with a 715 cubic inch big block Chevrolet. Vehicle co-owned by Rocky Brown, going side by side with Trevor Latham in Hammer Time. 2015 fiberglass-bodied Chevy Colorado with a 632 big block Chevy single carb VTE Power Glide transmission. Thing was built for renegades, but it should be competitive here in the stock class. Shooting for Rick George's time. Going after a 205, he runs a 218. Brown red lighted. Running tight here tonight. Jesse Brown, he was quick, but he wasted a good pass with a red light there on the start. I didn't even catch it. You see him carrying the front end down there. He starts to head off to the right as it looked like the vehicle was being dragged to the left. Look at him trying to reel it in there in the shutdown as he bounces over the berm. Both of those guys doing some heads-up driving down there as the big orange Chevy heads back into the staging area, into the hot pits. Jesse Brown trying to figure out what he did wrong there. I don't even know if he knows he red lighted just yet. Here comes Don Cato now out of Advanced, Missouri. A pair of Jeeps coming to the starting line. There is the guy who was a big surprise in the OPS class, Matt Mathis. Out of Cumberland City, Tennessee with a 638 big block Chevrolet. Pro stock built chassis. Don Cato next to him with the Ford motivation under the hood. Out of Advanced, Missouri, Tony Bischoff Ford Hemi in the red Jeep. Out of the Show Me State. See who can be king of the Jeeps tonight. Wide and outside for Mathis, and Cato ran over the track markers. Cato clearly disqualified. Mathis runs a 2.12 with a 3, but was the run legal? Keep your eye on Mathis. You're going to see him knock out the orange pylon on the far left-hand side of the track. He did not run over the clocks, though, clearly, so he will indeed post the time, but you'll see, keep your eye on the red Jeep now on the left-hand side of your screen. Thing picked up and went hard right. Both of those guys having to work for a living on that one. Cato, though, coming back up the front stretch here. He'll head back into the hot pits, get that thing ready for session 2, and hopefully he'll be able to keep it straight down the track, because if he can, that thing is fast here tonight. Speaking of fast, here comes Scott Sisler, a guy we have not seen since transfer Pennsylvania last year until this weekend, and Mr. Showtime out of New Matamoros, Ohio. Beautiful pass for Scott Sisler. He was dancing around coming down there at 206 with a 6. That'll put him at the top of the field, right behind Rick George. That is what he was looking for. See if he can pick up some time in session 2, but look at that thing dance down through there. Looks like he was driving over some ruts maybe as he carried the front end. Here are the standings in pro stocks after session 1. Rick George at a 205 with a 3. Then it's Scott Sisler at a 206.6. Greg Booker 208.5. Then Matt Mathis and Trevor Latham rounding out the top 5. We're not done yet. The pro stockers back in the staging lanes getting ready for session 2.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. First the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out of.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're gonna go down memory lane.
Back in Paducah, Kentucky. Kentucky here tonight under the lights. The weather just about perfect for the Pro Stock division of the MRA. And you can see we have a little bit different pairing going on here. Matt Mathis broke in session number 1. Running a very competitive pass, got him in the top 5. So he has been now replaced with Scott Sisler, who was actually just bumped up one pairing. He's going to run side by side with Don Cato. So Mr. Showtime, the Chevy S10. The big Chevrolet horsepower going to take on the Ford-powered Jeep called Unleashed out of Advance, Missouri. The Buckeye, Bowtie, and the Show Me State Jeep ready to go here in session 2 to open things up. Chasing a 205 with a 3. Both of those solid runs right with each other. A pair of 207s on that one. Cato a 207 with a 3. Sisler a 207 with a 5. Gets the better of those two runs. Pretty consistent night here for Scott Sisler and Mr. Showtime. And Buckeye Bowtie, the bright blue Buckeye Bowtie, hanging on in there with the bright red Jeep out of Missouri. Great to see Scott back in action. So park it, we wait on our next pairing. Trevor Latham now in Hammer Time. A guy who I guess we'll call him an underdog. He's certainly nobody that is going to let anyone get around him out of Parkview, Iowa. There in that beautiful blue machine called Hammer Time. Running that big 632 cubic inch Chevrolet against a 715 cubic inch big block Chevy of Jesse Brown and Loose Cannon. Again, your points leader. Chevy pickup certainly well represented here tonight between this and the Super Stock class. Using that wheelie bar tonight. Latham getting down the track in good shape. Staying in there competitive. Look at that. Brown only 1,000th off the national record with the run he just laid down. Jesse Brown at a 2:00 with a 5. The national record is a 2:00 with a 4. There's the Mile High Bowtie comes out now. That is Rodney Merritt in the Wild Looking Disturbed, taking on one of the coolest machines in the class, Greg Booker, Rat Rod American Outlaw out of Steelville, Missouri. We'll actually be running the finals this year at Greg's own track, the Upper Merrimack Dirt Drags. Merritt away very quickly. 2:40, not going to get him there. 2:05 for Booker. He's looking pretty good. Late leave out of the block, but not a bad run once he got going. Again, Rodney Merritt. I thought he red lighted for a second. He did not. It's just that Booker left way late. Still running a fast time. It'll get him into the top 5 as we get ready to come back to the starting line with our final pair of competitors. Booker pops the helmet off and watches to see where he ends up in the field. David Kurtz now and Mo Muddy out of Loudonville, Ohio. 1987 CJ7 with a 632 cubic inch big block Chevrolet Ford 9-inch rear end and a Dana 30 front diff. Going side by side with Rick George with a big John Conkle Chevy big block in the front of the Chevy pickup out of Franklin, Georgia. George again having to drive through a massive wheelie, a 2:10. Not going to get him into the number 1 spot, and I have to believe if he had made a wheelie bar adjustment, it may have helped him out, but he is the driver, the tuner. I am not, so I can sit here and say all the things I think he should have done at the end of the night. He's the one that had to get it there, but not a bad run for him at all at a 2:05. It puts him in second place to your points leader and victor here tonight, Jesse Brown. Greg Booker in the number 3 spot at a 2:05.4. Scott Sisler at a 2:06, and Don Cato at a 2:07. Now we're going to do something we don't normally do, show you the bottom half of the field. This is how competitive these guys were. You had to be in the 2:0s to get to the top 5, but the 2:1s dominating the field here tonight, all the way in to session 2 and 6th through 8th position. And then Rodney Merritt, kind of the underdog of the class, but still very impressive, coming out of Gar, Colorado. Here's a look at the points coming out of tonight's action. Jesse Brown continues to lead, but there was a big shakeup, and this could have been one of the most important races of the season as Rick George and Greg Booker jump over Rodney Merritt, knock him down into 4th, and Don Cato hangs in there in the number 5 spot. It has been an awesome night of action here in Paducah, Kentucky, and an awesome weekend so far. We've seen great racing, a lot of horsepower. We've seen records falling left and right. We may be seeing more of that when we come back next time. It is the Opens and the Modifieds hitting the track to wrap things up. Do not miss it. We will see you then.